Hey there, welcome to yet another edition of the Dusty Thunder Podcast, and we have with us once again Sassy Merlot, aka Brie.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thanks. Glad
to
be here.
have you. How long ago was it that you were on?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
Isn't that awful?
6
months? It's a time warp.
I know. You've got a life. You got things going on.
Yeah.
You got kids.
Lots.
So,
things and kids.
Like lots of kids. How many kids do you have?
3.
Yeah.
That's a
lot. Yeah.
They're all girls. I think that counts as 2 each.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. And by that math, I lost count of how many kids we have.
There's just so many.
I don't know. Well, that would be 6, 7, 8. That would be, if the girls count as 2. Yeah, then we would have 8 there.
It's outnumbered either way.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been a time warp. And now it's 2024.
It's 2024.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Were you happy to see 23 go, or is it bittersweet for you?
No, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Might as well see what's next.
Yeah.
Make it whatever we want it to be, I guess.
I think for us, 23 was one of those anomaly, lots of bullshit kind of years.
Yeah.
Like just cataclysmic bullshit.
Like more so than like, say, 2019 on?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, in the post-COVID kind of mayhem where it's just like, what the f***? I feel like we had more of those what the f*** moments in 23 than in any year prior. And in 24 so far, it's like
starting out great.
The year turned, and not personally, but it's like so many people connected to us have been having just anomaly, just wild shit happening in their personal lives so far, and we're just like, what is happening right now?
Got a boundary up.
Yeah, apparently, which we chatted a little bit about before jumping in here, and I want to dive in and talk about it. And you're 24. Mm-hmm. How is that going for you, and what kind of mindset do you have to start that year off the way that you want to? How does that work for you?
So in June of last year, I had some sort of crazy epiphany. I don't know. I had watched The Sopranos. I had been watching it. I'd never watched it before. And I've already said it once. Tony throughout the whole show says, "What are you going to do?" And I thought it was funny at first because I am so anxiety prone and overthinker and all this stuff. So it made me laugh at first. And then it hit me one day. I was like, okay, but really, what the hell are you going to do? You're going to carry on. You're going to keep going because what's the other option? There's really not. So that's kind of where I went with it. I'm kind of in a place of, well, whatever comes to me, what are you going to do but make it work, right?
So that's your version of like focus on controlling what you can and
totally
dismissing what you can't?
Not even dismissing, but one way or another, I'm going to have to figure out a way how to get through it, right? So it's control what I can and muddle through what I can't.
So a lot of people, when they take on that, what are you going to do kind of mentality or statement, it's kind of like a to them.
Yeah.
They'll be like, yeah, I don't give a shit. What are you going to do? You know?
Yeah.
But it's different for you. It is
sometimes it's a statement.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's I literally can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to take it as it comes. And if it's something I can brush aside, sweet. Guaranteed 100% I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But if it's not, I'm going to figure out how to get through it.
So it's like a real question then.
Truly,
like,
yeah.
What are you actually going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it requires action, then I'll figure out what I've got to do to take action.
Nice.
If not, then...
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? You're going to figure it out? You're going to get through it, or you're going to brush it aside and it'll go away?
I like it.
Yeah.
I've had this mantra for a long time that I need to do better about sticking to, but it is do what you want. And it is your actions should align with your goals.
Yes,
that's to do what you want. And it's not always that way. For me, it should be more. And I think the break that happens at the holidays, and this probably happens for a lot of people, while it breaks my routine, and I am very heavily dependent on that routine, and my mind starts spinning and I go nuts as I like make myself busy with doing mounds of laundry or cleaning house or just whatever those things are that I keep myself remove the idle hands threat with. As my mind starts processing through things and I start figuring out what things I want to change for 24, I think I have some of that clarity heading into the year where you get that refresh. And as much as I hate breaking my routine, there's a big benefit to having that break from it to be able to process and be able to change things. Are you a creature of habit? Do you rely heavily on routine?
I should. I want to be that person.
Yeah.
I'm not that person.
Are you a free floater?
I'm a free floater and it's chaotic and it's horrible.
Candy Thunder's a free floater too.
But I don't want to. I want to be very scheduled and habitual. There are a lot of really positive things that can come from that that I see right in front of me, but I just can't quite get it. And I think it's because I'm in that season of life where I'm keeping track of everybody else's things.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people in my life, I can say, you take care of your own shit. But with my kids, with my household, with all of that, and my husband can keep track of his own shit for the most part. But when it comes to the girls, that's on me. And it's not because he's not there to be a partner. I just can do it better.
I hear you.
Control freak on my part a little bit. But I know what they're doing when they're going to be doing things. And so one day my time will come where I'll hopefully
apply that structure to yourself.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting because I feel like for Candy Thunder, it's the flip flop, right? Oh, no. It's the same because she has the structure that she applies to the family. She's on top of the family shit. She helps my structure a lot.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
Because she knows what kind of a dick I become if I lose it.
Fair.
And she doesn't want to deal with it. But also I think she knows that it's best for everybody if I have that structure and I'm allowed to work through it. But the kids, the amount of youth sports and stuff they have going on still. It's basketball season now. Brady's playing basketball for the first time.
That's cool.
Made the team.
Nice.
Is great. But basketball games, like football, it's one game per week. Right. Basketball,
basketball's constant.
They have more games than there are days per the week. And it's wild. So we have 2 cheerleaders cheering for basketball games, and we have a basketball player now.
And practices for all of that. Oh my God.
And it's 3 different schools, 2 different school districts.
What?
It's all over the place.
That's a lot.
And then the toddler in the mix.
Which is in itself a whole thing. Keeping a toddler, because a schedule for a toddler, oh my gosh. That's a lot.
So Navy Thunder, I joke around about it a lot, but she really does have like the best of us and the worst of us and none of the in between. No. She doesn't have any of the in between. She has my reliance on routine.
Yeah.
And if her routine breaks, she becomes an asshole too. It just happens.
Yep.
So going into the holidays, her routine broke and she was like, what in the ever loving hell is happening to my life right now?
Yeah.
But then her new schedule over the holidays became, I get to wake up and open presents like 4 or 5 days in a row because we have a blended family and we had to celebrate ahead of time. Then we had family things and blah, blah, blah. So then we had to break that routine. And of course, the princess.
That's not near as fun.
No, breaking that routine to be like, no, there's no more presents. It's over now. She's like, excuse me. And now she's just with it enough to really understand like Christmas and be able to enjoy Christmas lights and that kind of thing. And now, everybody's it's what, the 8th?
Yeah.
It's the 8th of January. Pretty much everybody in the neighborhood has either just turned theirs off or taken theirs down, except for us. Because I'm I put a lot of work into that shit. Right? I'm leaving it on.
I just took my tree down the other day, a couple days
ours
ago.
Is still up.
Yeah, well.
We'll get there eventually.
My kids were with grandparents and I had to seize the opportunity. So.
Yeah, I hear you.
Otherwise, same, because I like the way my house feels at Christmas. It's very cozy.
Yeah.
And also I put a freaking lot of work into that.
Exactly.
And I don't want to carry it all up and down the stairs. It's really just being lazy.
for us, it's like we understand that we need like a good 4-hour chunk to really take a run at this. And identifying where that 4-hour chunk is going to come from is tough.
I do it during football. I do a lot of things I do. If I'm going to plan on watching a game. Yeah. I'll turn the game on and turn everything.
That's a good idea. Or start
taking everything down. I have to have some sort of background going.
That's a damn good idea.
Yeah.
We do a lot of music. Like we'll do music while we're cleaning. Yeah. And Navy Thunder is a music girl. She loves listening to music too. So we can keep her entertained and she'll dance and get into that kind of thing too. But now anytime we're in the car and it's starting to get darker out, she's like, I want to see Christmas lights.
Oh.
And I'm like, well.
Explaining that. That's so sad.
I'm like, it's over. We got to wait till next Christmas. She's like, I want to see Christmas lights. And I'm like, you will have to wait till we're backing into the driveway, kid.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's the tough part. So she understands the magic of Christmas. She doesn't understand the timeline of it yet.
And that makes total sense. And the magic of Christmas is the most important part.
Yeah.
I preach it constantly to my Grinch husband, who like he doesn't need any of it, doesn't want any of it. He's patting himself on the back for helping me wrap presents on Christmas Eve. And he did his part and he's very proud. And I'm like, oh my God. Thank you so much for your help.
Yes, this contribution was wonderful. He's like, I don't even know what I'm wrapping. I'm just wrapping
He
it.
literally had no idea. Who's this for? Who's this for? I'm like, God dang it.
I think I wrapped more presents this year than I have any year prior.
I
Just trying
cannot
to jump
imagine
in
what Christmas is. How do you guys do Christmas gifts and all? You guys have a lot of people to Christmas for.
Right. Well, and it's different every year because we have the alternating blended family schedule.
Right.
So every other year, Christmas with some of the kids is before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And then we still have the Christmas Day Christmas. And then Candy Thunder has a pretty big family that goes all in for Christmas and does very like large group community things. And then
I love that.
my family does some things too, but they're not as not like they have the gathering, but it's not like a whole day or half day kind of event, and there aren't several of them leading up to it. And really getting used to that family dynamic with Candy Thunder's family was a big change for me. We don't do it anymore, but it used to be that all of her siblings and their families would come stay at her parents' house Christmas Eve night and get up and do Christmas together. Well, that gets difficult as the number of kids you have grows. So I think we stopped doing it a couple of years ago, but that was different for me. And getting used to it, I was like, this is.
I need my space, and that goes off of the schedule thing, right? Like that really throws your schedule off. Yeah, the routine rather.
And you're sleeping in a new space, and it's
not getting good sleep that way.
Right. It's all different.
Are any of you go race on holiday people?
Oh, hell no.
Thank God, right?
Hell no. I think my brothers-in-law are all way more active than I am. They do a lot of climbing and mountain biking and that kind of thing. We don't have any runners in the family yet.
I can handle some of that, but this get up in the morning on a holiday.
Do the turkey trot?
Oh, absolutely not. But I'm also not going to run for almost any reason. Like, I'm not here for running.
I hear you.
No, I don't need that. And not on the holidays.
I can imagine, the only kind of turkey trots that I'm going to be experiencing on Thanksgiving are not the kind that you like.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Candy Thunder's going to be like, damn it, Dusty, just edit that part out. I had to do something.
That's a great time to bring that up.
Yeah, colon room. Yeah. We haven't talked about that for a while. Question for you that our recent conversation made me think of. How is sleep for you? Do you feel like you get good quality sleep, or do you feel like holidays mess with that? And how
holidays definitely mess with that. So I have always been a horrible sleeper. But again, back to this June thing, when all of this snapped for me, I quit having trouble with a lot of that.
No, we talked a little bit before starting recording about law of attraction and how you apply that as well.
Right.
Was the timing kind of the same?
It was the exact same.
Okay.
All of this information came to me all at the same time of this, what are you going to do? Control what you can, let go of what you can't, law of attraction. All of this happened within a month span of each other, which also then led to a random out of nowhere opportunity to go to Paris. Out of nowhere, it was a 6 week. I had 6 weeks to get this planned.
Hold up.
Yeah.
How does a random out of nowhere opportunity to go to Paris?
This is bizarre. Okay, so I'm coming across all of this information about law of attraction. I love traveling. It's my favorite thing to do in the world. And a friend of mine had grown up with a girl who they'd like recently gotten back in contact with each other. This girl was getting married just outside of Paris, and my friend's husband couldn't go. The girl and her husband to be was paying for everything. All we had to pay for was if we went over there early, we had to pay for a hotel. Flights were paid for. Where we stayed was paid for. Everything was paid for. And of course, I couldn't say no to that. Scramble figured it out.
Right.
And it was the most amazing, awesome trip I've ever been on. It was awesome. So cool. And the wedding was in a castle, and we stayed in a castle. It was crazy. And that's kind of when it all hit me. Like, I'm not saying I manifested that, but that's bizarre.
But I manifested that.
I'm really freaking powerful. So no, it was just weird. And then I've always had anxiety flying, and again, this anxiety stuff was not happening as much anymore. It was the first time I've ever flown without some sort of anxiety medication.
Right.
And that was a 9.5-hour flight there
Wow.
and back. Didn't take anything. It just was like all of this information was happening all at the same time, and all these things were all happening at the same time. And it was sort of like a switch for me that I don't need to freak out about all the things that seem so important, because really they're not. At the end of the day, I just kind of want to enjoy what I'm doing and travel. And like, what did you say earlier? What you like, you
Do what you want. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to freak out anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Your actions should be indicative of the direction you're trying to go.
And so when all that happened, I just felt more peaceful and I started sleeping better.
Wow.
It doesn't happen all the time. I still have broken up sleep. And if I wore one of those like Aura ring things, it would probably tell me it's not as good as I think it is. But,
So,
but I'm not exhausted all the time.
Yeah. So like both Candy Thunder and I, although we wear different watches, our watches will give us sleep scores too. And we both had terrible sleep, particularly over the holidays. And I'm sure it's anxiety driven.
Sure.
But that's a struggle. And we're also to the age now, I think it's really funny, where in your 20s, like you can crash on the floor of a bathroom. Right? And in my 40s now, it's like if I sleep with the wrong pillow, my life will be hell for a week.
Yep.
That's just.
I tried to stand up straight earlier, and my back kind of tweaked, and I was like, "Oh my god, dude, seriously, that's trash."
Oh yeah, it's just where we are now. But you just learn to deal with it. And the other night, I had been sleeping poorly for a couple of nights, and finally, as I was laying on my side, I was like, "I'll be damned, this is the wrong pillow." Threw it, grabbed the other one that was supposed to be there. I'm like, okay, now we're in business. Now, hopefully I can fix this shit. But we also do, she does Delta 8 and I do Delta 9 to help with sleep.
Yep.
And just have to. And maybe eventually we'll get to a place where we don't have to, but right now.
Well, I was doing that.
Yeah.
As well.
Gotcha.
And had to.
But don't
every
now?
Night. I don't.
Wow.
Now that is more, I mean, since June, maybe 3 times.
Wow.
And not because I had to, but just because
you had an opportunity to like actually
I could just
truly deep relax and just go for it. Yeah.
Yep.
That would be nice. It's not a necessity thing. It's an optional thing.
Yeah, but it takes a lot of intention to do all that.
Sure.
Though. And I feel like when I'm slipping away from doing that work and constantly reminding myself of these things, that's when I start having anxiety sneak back in and the poor sleep sneaks back in. And then I've got to, whether it be go back and re-listen to the audio or something that gets me set back in that, on that path.
Do you tie that to any kind of like breath work or meditation or anything like that?
I'm not good at all that yet.
Gotcha.
I think it naturally settles me down when I'm listening to it. So I think that I don't focus on my breathing, but I'm really focused. And not on stuff I don't want to be focused on.
Gotcha.
So I think it just naturally settles.
Yeah, which is the same kind of result, the intentional focus, to be able to block out what you want to block out.
Which is ironic that I can do that listening to that audio, but I cannot make my mind settle and be quiet to quietly meditate.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. I'm working on it. I'm not there yet.
Well, and even during meditative programs, like they'll use music or background sounds for a lot of that too. So
that's true.
I went through at one point in my life within the past few years, I felt like was in a really good meditative kind of routine and had very good breath control and very good thought control. And then life happens. Yep. And you get busy and you slip out of it, just like a workout routine.
Totally.
And just now over the break got to the point where I reinstituted some of that and I'm now trying to build up the good habits again and stick with them. And that's the tough part, is just sticking with it.
It is really hard to stick with it. It's really hard to pull yourself back to it. And it doesn't seem like it would be, because it's literally just sitting and using your mind intentionally. But God, it's freaking hard to do it.
You know, and maybe that's the most frustrating part, is that it is effortless to pick up your phone and to get lost to the shithole of the FYP. But actually doing something constructive. Yeah, maybe that's it. It's like there's no effort involved in this.
Yeah.
But there's mental effort involved.
That's
with
exactly.
Actually,
and when you're tired, because when do you have time to do this? Usually like toward the end of the day when you're about to go to bed or whatever. That's when I do. And I'm mentally exhausted by then. And to sit and then use my mind in an intentional way is like, God, I would, or I could sit here and watch dumbass videos and most of the time I'm going to do it, but not without opening my phone and going, you don't need to be doing this.
Yeah, right. So you have that kind of gut
Absolutely.
check first.
I have a gut check that tells me like there's a better way to do this, and I ignore it. And
so
go on
make that your wallpaper.
Turn it off.
So I had a hard and fast rule for a while of I would not use my phone in bed.
That's a good rule.
I would, if I was coming to bed, I'd set the alarms and I'd put my phone face down and I'd crawl into bed and that was it. Broke that for a little while. It was probably holiday induced, but then got to a point where I was like, if I'm going to be using my phone in some kind of like sitting here relaxing fashion, I'm going to be doing something constructive. And I downloaded a brain training app.
Oh, I love that.
So I started going through it. But here's the weird part. You mentioned something a minute ago where it's like it's at the end of the day, your brain's exhausted. You don't have like the mental energy to be doing constructive things. I chose that time to be the time that I would do my brain training. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I justified it to myself as, well, this is the only time that I have that I could do that kind of thing. But also, I think there might be some benefit to forcing myself to do brain training while I'm at my weakest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe. I'm sure somebody out there is like, no, that's bullshit. It's way less efficient to do that. But
I'm big on show me the science.
Right.
And if it works for you, somebody show me the science that says it's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
If you're doing the work, then hell with it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the science does say otherwise. I have no idea, but at least you're doing it.
Yeah. Well, my scores are improving,
That's
day after day,
awesome.
week after week. So I have a pretty good trend. I can tell if I'm having an off night because it's like progress, day and progress.
That's a good idea. I may check that out.
Yeah.
That would be it. Also, I think running businesses, things like that. I don't know if you do this. I feel guilty if I'm taking my me time. And so if I'm screwing off, like just looking through my phone or whatever, it'll hit me like,
you should be working on something.
I should be working on something.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I think for me, it is, I think the business element of it certainly is there from like a leadership perspective.
Yeah.
I think as a parent and as a leader, you both have to be more sacrificial in those roles. For sure. You have to largely be more selfless than you have ever been in your entire life. So yes, that makes perfect sense. I think the parent side of it has more weight than the business side of it. Mm-hmm. I think I have that guilt of I should be doing something to further support my family rather than dicking off right now.
Fair enough.
And I think that's what it is for me.
Mine's definitely the business side still.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Because I want so much more to happen with the business that I feel like I should be using my whatever minimal brain power I have at that point to be coming up with ideas or trying to think of different angles that I've not hit yet. And that's probably the worst. I'm sure that's the worst time to be doing it.
I think in my experience, and I've done night shift for, 15 years at this point, less so in 23 than ever before. Mm-hmm. I have made more conscious decisions to sleep, which may have some kind of alignment with 23 being like more of a cataclysmic year.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to rethink this.
Switching it all up.
But if there was a problem that I needed to deep dive in and really find some creative solutions for that wasn't a black and white, like a mathematical problem or just a simple task kind of thing, I would always save it for night shift because I had less of a firm time boundary. The rest of the world, there was less of a chance of interference during those times. Like you could really just lose yourself in it and untangle the spaghetti mess of it and try to figure out what a true solution for it was. And I still do that if I have a really, really complex problem, I'll save it.
Well, didn't you say you also write Piano Man at night?
I do. Yep. Yep. Which I finally finished writing.
Nice.
And I have part 3 at this point, halfway voiced.
Yeah.
I came in over the weekend and did a long recording session on it, and I got about halfway through it, which is about an hour's worth of audio, and I'm like, shit, this is a long story.
Nice. That's cool.
So it's going to be cool. I'm actually going to come back later tonight and try to knock out the rest of it.
Cool.
I got to a point where I had voiced so much that my voice was like,
yeah, that makes
sense.
I'm
like, okay, time to take a break, I guess.
Yeah.
I need to have some kind of hot tea and honey approach.
That's what I've got going on.
There you go. It's really good for the vocal cords. Medicine ball. Hey.
It's what you order whenever you go get one of these. It's really good.
I'll have to remember that. Candy Thunder has has the formula down. And I was feeling a little bit sick heading into the holidays too, and got on a regimen of hot tea that she would do.
Oh yeah, that's
and,
awesome.
Like I still had to do live streams and do recordings and that kind of thing too, and that saved me, I think.
No time for all that.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I know we're going way off topic here.
That's what we
I
do.
found a recipe for a make it yourself like a copycat Tim Tam.
Really?
Tim Tom.
Oh, gosh.
Whatever. And I had an idea. And I feel like there should be a little gummy wave ride and make our own those things.
Ooh, I'm game.
Yeah.
Candy Thunder.
Come on.
She's going to be all over it.
I think that would be fun. And maybe they taste like shit, but maybe we won't care.
Maybe you find out.
Mm-hmm.
They're Tim Tams to the rest of the world. They're Tam Tams to her.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually have a Tim Tam dessert at Outback Steakhouse right now.
What? Has she had it?
Nope.
That
Not
needs
yet.
to happen.
Yeah, I know. That needs to happen. But yeah, we saw it on the menu. We took the kids there, but it was like, oh, we can't put that heap of sugar in front of Navy Thunder and then be like,
oh,
no.
yeah. You can't have that.
Nope. We'll
Watch us
save that for another time.
Yeah. Well, I found this recipe and I usually have like a strict, if it's more than 3 or 4 steps, I'm out. But
yeah,
get in the right headspace and it may not matter.
Right. It's the whole complex problem thing.
Mm-hmm.
You got to deep dive on it. I'm game. We gotta discuss this some more.
Yeah.
We need to pull Candy Thunder in for that.
We do. I think that would be fun. And I don't have to be a part of it. You guys can do it, but
no,
I just want you to know
now.
that there is a copycat recipe out there.
We're game. Well, she has like a lifetime supply of Tim Tams at this point, but still, the ability to create your own, we're down for.
Might be funny content.
So we've got several stories lined up here. I think we have 4, but she said that one of these is a best of Redditor update with several parts to it.
Ooh,
so
okay.
That one, like when we were talking about having kids, that one would count as a girl because it's like a 2.5 story. So
I like it.
There's that one. We'll go ahead and start bebopping through these. The first story that we have is from the Am I the Astronaut subreddit and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for telling my sister I don't feel sorry for her after her daughter moved in with her grandparents?
Oh, this should be good.
Yeah. My niece, Annabelle, 15, went to live with her grandparents a few weeks ago. This was a long time coming. Annabelle has been miserable at home for years and has talked to her mom countless times and had me, my mom, and my brother talk to her mom on her behalf before. Nothing changed until Annabelle was finally done. This all started when Annabelle was 4. Oh, wow. My sister Natasha, 47, met her husband and they moved in together with his then 5-year-old daughter, Jasmine. Annabelle instantly adored Jasmine, which I know my sister hyped her up for them being sisters and stuff. But Jasmine from day one was very negative toward Annabelle. She would scream at Annabelle and call her names. It wasn't normal kid acting out stuff, and it wasn't corrected from what we witnessed. Then over the years, it just kept getting worse, and it stayed a very negative relationship even after Annabelle stopped trying to be sisters or even friends with Jasmine. Jasmine was with her dad way more than with her mom. Her mom, like Annabelle's dad, was a bit of a deadbeat though, and at least she knew her mom where Annabelle had never met her dad. Whenever we would see them, Jasmine would have no problem playing with other kids, even other kids in our family, but she would tell Annabelle she couldn't play, or she would blame Annabelle for making her stop playing with the others. My brother's kids would come and tell us what was going on, and neither Natasha nor her husband would say or do anything. My mom went over a few times and said it wasn't nice to exclude kids, and Jasmine would say she hated Annabelle and wanted her to go away. This all bled into school, where Annabelle was bullied by Jasmine and some of her friends. Still, nothing was done. Natasha dismissed everyone who mentioned it to her. She would even ask Annabelle if she really wanted her to be unhappy and single again, or why couldn't she accept that some sisters won't always like you? She would ignore when Annabelle told her that Jasmine never liked her. We did our best to be supportive of Annabelle, and we even tried to figure out if we could help things with her and Jasmine. It came as no surprise to me when Annabelle told us her grandparents were fighting for custody. When they won, it was surprising because I almost expected it to go in Natasha's favor since she's her mom. But the judge decided Annabelle was old enough to have a say and took everything into account. Natasha was furious with the decision and has been crying and raging ever since. Nobody has comforted her, and we've pulled back now that we no longer need to go through her to see Annabelle. That might be why she showed up at my house the other night and wanted to talk, and when I didn't let her in, she asked me why we're not there for her. I told her that I don't feel sorry for her at all, and I said that it was her fault that this happened. Natasha called me a biatch and stormed away from my house. She sent me a text yesterday saying I should still be there for her. Am I the astronaut? Okay, relevant comment from OP here. We have been there for my niece and advocated for her. My sister refused to listen and dismissed it. She said she wanted to be married and prioritized that over her daughter. We all tried many times. She is currently living with her paternal grandparents in another city. She doesn't know her dad, but has a relationship with his parents. Being in another city and away from my sister and all the bullying in school is likely going to be the best thing for her. We're still in touch with her. Thoughts?
Lots of thoughts. It is so important that we create a safe space for these kids to come talk to us. And this little girl tried and tried and tried for freaking 11 years. I mean, who knows when she started trying, but she tried to open up to her mom, and her mom never one time made her feel safe. If you do not feel safe to speak how you feel, then you also don't feel protected. Good for her for at 15 making this horrible decision she was forced to make to go somewhere where she was going to feel safe. Little kids anybody deserves to have a safe space with the people who are closest to them. And as a parent, it is our job to create that safe space. And she blew her off and made her feel unimportant, told her that she wasn't the priority, and then made it her problem that she felt this way and could have jeopardized her her mom's marriage. What? That's awful.
And then played the victim card at the end, and she's like,
which is ironic,
why is anybody
right?
here for me?
I'm going to allow this other girl to be an asshole to my daughter, be a bad sister, and then get mad at my own sister when she isn't on my side because I did nothing to protect my child. No, that doesn't work that way.
It had to be, for it to get to this point and for the judge to weigh in Annabelle's favor to make the choice herself, there had to be some heavier shit going on.
I'm sure. Also, paternal grandparents, and this girl has no idea, has no relationship with her dad.
Right.
So that's interesting too.
Yeah, that's an additional, it had to have been bad. Yeah.
Also, for it to then bleed into what was going on at school, and then the school not stepping in. Not that it's, if it's happening on school property, school grounds, it is their responsibility to take care of that.
And maybe they did. Maybe they did.
Bring
it up.
Yeah.
And they had meetings about it, but nothing was ever done at home. Here's the cool part. I think most kids who are in this situation, and there are millions of kids in this situation, which is heartbreaking. This started when she was 4, and it breaks my heart to think about a 4-year-old kid who just is attached to their mom and has no choice, getting forced into a situation where someone just hates them, treats them like shit, and is told to just deal with it.
It was built up as going to be this amazing relationship.
Yes.
A 4-year-old is going to take everything that parent says and believe that's the truth.
Yeah.
And when it's not, that parent should be the one that steps in, because it doesn't matter what the situation is. In good, bad, whatever situations, for a 4-year-old, that parent is the pedestal. And then when that person, and then when that person doesn't step back in and go, I'm so sorry, it isn't what I thought it was going to be. Let's figure out how to work through it.
Right.
And then completely just shoves her aside, brushes her aside. That's awful.
Yeah.
And again, this little girl clearly has some sort of survivor mentality, because she didn't turn into a victim.
Yep.
She made her own way and created a situation that she could remove herself.
That's what I think is the cool part. And I really think that a lot of that probably has to do with OP and the other family members that kept in touch with her, and that probably kept reassuring her that this was not okay. Because otherwise, and the kids in this position that are out there that don't know any better, grow up with that victim mentality, grow up thinking that they just deserved this, grow up just repeating the cycle. They don't fight it. They never would have gotten to the point where they made that choice to extract themselves from it. And I really think that OP and the other family members here who are really pushing for this to stop and this not being okay deserve that round of applause for facilitating that.
And kudos to the paternal grandparents for staying involved in a situation that I'm sure they weren't super welcome to be a part of.
Sure.
And then creating a space where this little girl could escape. I mean, all of the adults here, with the exception of mom and stepdad, deserve a lot of respect, because
and there isn't a lot of talk about stepdad in this, but he's just as much to blame for allowing this to happen under his watch as mom is.
Yeah.
Maybe not just as much. Mom, I think, and when you have blended families, I think there's always the first line of responsibility, is to your kid.
Yeah.
And while on the hierarchy here, I think spouse and child are and should be at an equal level.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that in a blended family, like, you have that safety responsibility. You are responsible for the safety of your child. And in this case, although there isn't anything physical talked about here, I think, safety goes well beyond that. And the scars and emotional trauma and the amount of therapy that this girl's now going to have to go through for the rest of her life to try to undo what was done is harm.
Not just by the parents, but by the stepsister as well. I mean, and it doesn't say, we won't know why this other little girl acted this way. I think it said that the little girl's mom was not around either, right? So it wasn't even that the girl was there and gone and there and gone. These parents made a choice to prioritize another child over, you know what I mean? Like Jasmine got prioritized over Annabelle. And that is another fun little therapy conversation that's going to have to happen.
Even if it wasn't a conscious, this girl cares more, by allowing her to do what she was doing. They did prioritize her by allowing it to happen. So the question, am I the astronaut for telling my sister I don't feel sorry for her after her daughter moved in with her grandparents? Hell no.
Nope.
Not the astronaut.
Not at all.
Sister here is definitely an ASCON one.
Without a doubt.
There's selfish, and then there's selfish to the detriment of your child.
Yeah, that's a whole other freaking universe.
You don't get to make those choices. Nope. We just finished talking about how as a parent, you're going to be more selfless than you have ever been when you're a parent. And Candy Thunder and I had this discussion, I think earlier today or yesterday too. It's you don't get to act like this. You don't get to make these kind of decisions and there not be repercussions. No.
And thank God this little girl got away.
Yeah. Not without scars.
No.
It
but
still
again,
just pisses me off.
Oh, it's awful. But man, this little girl's a badass.
Yeah.
That is so cool. And I wish this little girl at whatever age would get on and give an update just about her life and all the amazing
10
things
years
she
from
did.
Now.
Because I think she's going to do amazing, cool things.
Yeah. If she gets the support and the therapy that she needs.
If she can maintain the mentality that she has now, she's going to be awesome.
Breaking the cycle. And there's
totally.
I don't know that I completely believe this, but there is that saying that everybody believes they're doing the right thing.
Do they?
Do you feel like mom really believed that she was doing the right thing, or do you feel like she was choosing to turn a blind eye to this strictly because she didn't want the inconvenience of not being married, not having support?
I think that initially, I'm sure she knew she wasn't doing the right thing, but you can talk yourself into believing anything, right?
Sure.
And I imagine eventually she had herself talked into believing that she was doing the right thing. When she was hyping up. I mean, all of it. Not trying to rock the boat with her husband. Mm-hmm. And also, if your marriage is that fragile that you can't stand up for your child without being worried about divorce, dude. Oh my God. Speaking of therapy.
Yeah.
Maybe we mention that a little bit. Look into that. But you have to be self-aware, and neither of them are self-aware humans.
It doesn't sound like Natasha ever even pushed for it, though. It's like she wasn't even willing to try because she didn't want to rock the boat, like you said. But my God. All right. Well, that's, man.
That was
hopefully she has a very positive ass-kicking life.
I hope so.
Good gravy. Okay. Here's the big one. Here's the best of Redditor update one. So this one has a couple of updates to it. Title of this one is Best of Redditor Updates. Will I be the astronaut if I skipped my sister's wedding? Throwaway account plus fake names, originally posted May 31st, 2023. I, 23, male, am one of 7 kids. There's Lydia, 31 female, Josh, 28 male, Leo, 25 male, me, then Aaron, 21 female, Nadia, 18 female, and the surprise child, Lexi, 4 female. Holy shit. I mean, yeah. With that many siblings, it's easy to get lost in the crowd. Some of us have our positions, so to speak. Lydia's the oldest, Lexi's the baby. I have a kid. Yes, that's my descriptor. OP gave us a grandchild. Aaron is the golden child. She was the last planned child, the one supposed to tie up our family. She was born premature, so I understand that my parents coddled her to an extent, but it's more than that now. Aaron's getting married and recently told us she brought the date forward due to a cancellation. No big deal, it just means they're getting married sooner, but the new date lands on the date of Nadia's high school graduation. Aaron was sympathetic, but said she's already committed to the date. They've printed the invitations. My parents normally go overboard on our high school graduations, but they said that they'd just have to miss Nadia's. We were all sympathetic, but it wasn't intentional. Or so I thought. But Nadia later told Leo and I that she was there when Aaron got the call about the cancellation and told Aaron that she was graduating that day. But Aaron just laughed and accepted the date anyway. This, as much as I hate to admit it, sounds like a very Aaron thing to do. She booked her engagement party for the night of Nadia's 18th birthday. Luckily, she wasn't celebrating until the weekend. She announced her engagement at my oldest sister's wedding anniversary. Everything is about her. I confronted Aaron about this, and she said that Nadia's high school graduation didn't matter. She wanted to get married to the love of her life sooner. It is only 1 month sooner to be exact, and our family had been to plenty of high school graduations at this point anyway. She said something like, "We still have Lexi." But here's what gets me the most. Nadia's been looking forward to this for so long. She's watched all of us graduate and had these huge celebrations thrown by our parents. I asked Nadia what she wanted, and she said that she wanted to have her day. So I told my family that me and Nadia won't be attending the wedding. Leo has also dropped out. Everyone's angry. Aaron's furious. And I didn't make it better by telling her that I could watch our other siblings get married since it's all the same in her eyes. Mom's trying to convince me to come to the wedding because graduation isn't as important, but I feel like if I don't do this, then it sets a precedent in Nadia's life. She's always going to mean less than Aaron. I've had messages calling me an asshole, an idiot, etc. They're telling me to step up and be a good brother, but that's what I'm doing. My son is supposed to be the ring bearer, but with how my family is reacting, I'm considering pulling him out of the wedding too. My dad's told Nadia he'll take her to dinner after the wedding. Nadia is currently staying with me because Mom won't stop cornering her. Am I the astronaut? Here's an additional comment here from Original OP. Comment 1. That's something I should have mentioned in the post, but the difference in the original date and the new date is a month. She was supposed to get married in July, but moved it up 1 month to the same date as Nadia's graduation. I'm not sure on the details. I think she wanted to get married in June, but none of the venues she liked had any slots until July. I'm honestly not sure, and honestly I don't care to know because right now it doesn't change the fact that she's chosen to get married on Nadia's graduation date. Comment 2. I mentioned 2 examples of Erin making everything about herself, but here are some honorable mentions. Oh, lovely. I proposed to my partner 2 months after Erin got engaged. This proposal was something I'd been planning for months, something my family had been made aware of for months, and fell on a day that's significant to me and my partner. Erin was angry because I should have waited until this year so she'd been married beforehand. Our brother Josh was cheated on a few years back. It really broke his heart, and his confidence was in tatters for a while afterwards. Erin asked him if he could give her a necklace he'd bought for his girlfriend because it's not like he needed it. A few days after the incident took place, when he yelled at her, she cried to our parents about how she was trying to help him. She broke her leg the morning of Josh's college graduation. It was an accident, but all of us agreed that it was pretty on brand for her. Original OP on their parents regarding the family dynamics. I was interested in hearing this, so I don't want to defend my parents because they are wholeheartedly in the wrong here, but I think they were under the impression that Erin spoke to Nadia separately when she announced the date change back in March. like they thought maybe they worked something out themselves because they thought it was an unfortunate mistake. Nadia only told me and Leo about the fact that it was intentional last week. They've otherwise been pretty good at attending and throwing events meant for each of us specifically, but unfortunately, on more than one occasion, the spotlight was always turned to Aaron for some reason or another. Like, as I mentioned in the post, we were celebrating Lydia's wedding anniversary, and Aaron thought it'd be a good idea to announce that she was engaged without consulting Lydia at all. And our parents allowed her to do that and encouraged her by being excited for her. My parents don't seem to have picked up on this pattern in Aaron. And as I'm typing this, I'm thinking that maybe I should write a list of as many of these instances as I can remember and confront my parents with it. Another comment, unfortunately, we know which of us were planned and which of us were not. Lydia was not planned. Josh and Leo were, but I wasn't. Then our parents decided to try for another girl, and they got their miracle. Nadia's their surprise gift, and Lexi's their blessing. It's not so much that any of us were unwanted, just unplanned. I think our parents had Erin assuming she'd be the baby, and then she was born premature, and they never once thought about changing their stance that she's their miracle child. They love Nadia and they love Lexi, and my mom apologized about having to miss out on Nadia's graduation when Erin first told us about it. I think she mentioned that we could celebrate as a family after Erin came back from her honeymoon. But things changed when Leo and I sat Erin and her parents down to tell them that Nadia wanted to attend her graduation and we were going to be there for her too. Too many big days have been monopolized by Erin, so I want Nadia to have a day that is hers, even if it's only celebrated by her two brothers, her brother's partner, and her nephew. Okay, so we still have 2 updates to go here, but let's talk about this for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what do you think?
God. Okay. 1, all of the children know who was planned and who wasn't.
Yeah.
That's so.
Yeah.
God dang.
You know, I think we read a story on the live yesterday.
I know. That's what it made me think of.
Yeah. And I think there are some scenarios where they're adults now. So I think
Fair.
When they found out who was planned and who wasn't has some weight in this. If they were told as kids, and depending on how they were told in the story that we read, mom used it as a weapon. So that's not okay. And it doesn't sound like that's a topic of contention for OP here.
It just struck me.
Yeah.
God. I mean, with the information we have, Erin seems kind of like an asshole. And by kind of, I mean, she's a spoiled ass brat.
Yeah.
And they allow her to be that.
Because they're either oblivious to it or it's just who she is and they have accepted that that's who she is.
Right.
But they're enabling.
Yeah. And if they have allowed all the other kids, or if they have had these big events and big parties for all the other kids, why would this be any different?
Right. Not doing it for one.
Again, singling out, choosing one over another, that sucks. Erin moving her wedding up a month, for God's sake. It's a month. And I don't know. I guess I remember being excited and in the whole, pre-getting married thing. And it is a really exciting time. But God dang it. What the hell's a month?
Yeah.
And then to intentionally put that on your sister's graduation, you're a dick. You're a dick.
To laugh about it.
Yeah. And if in fact all of these things have happened where she's monopolized every big event, come on. Somebody needs to stand up and this guy's right to do it. Someday,
Erin is going to give us so many good mother-in-law stories.
Totally.
So many. She's going to make the baby shower about her. She's going to make her son's wedding about her. She's going to give us so many good stories. The cake
she wanted is going to be going to be changed in the order.
She's already there. Like, she doesn't have to wait to become a mother-in-law to be that person. She is already that person. And parents just enabling it sucks. And just wake up to what's happening here.
Yeah.
If parents are funding this wedding, I think they have a responsibility to be like, no, you change that date back.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think they care to do that. Probably at this point, how many kids in are we, and how many graduations have we had? And if you are prioritizing events, I would agree that a wedding is more important maybe than a graduation.
Not if it's your kids.
But if it's your own kids, you
Yeah.
don't get to do that.
Right.
Like in a stranger, if I'm looking at strangers, I'm going to say, yeah, I mean, a wedding's more important than a graduation. But if you're your children and you're choosing, no, you
Yeah.
don't get to do that. Both are huge events. Both are life-changing things. One didn't have the opportunity to set the date and one did.
Right. And one knew what they were doing.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I don't like that.
I think as a parent here, you have to look at the future course, or what are the repercussions for this?
Yeah.
And if they allow this to happen, they are going to completely sever their relationship with
At least 3.
Nadia. Sorry, there's so many kids. I'm
I know.
having trouble keeping track of names. Nadia's the one that's graduating.
Is the one graduating. Leo's the older brother, and then didn't catch this one's name, but this one,
right? OP,
Yeah. So
the one who gave them a grandchild.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's 3 of your kids who are willing to take a stance against this, and you need to listen.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big deal.
I hate to be this guy, but if I were in Nadia's shoes right now, and depending on how much I really wanted them there, I think there is a play to be made here where it's okay, you can forego the big brouhaha for my graduation for a price.
Totally.
And what does Aaron want out of this? Not Aaron. What does Nadia want out of this? And I think once she decides what that is, if she's willing to take some other kind of compensation for it, and that's not gonna solve the emotional damage that's gonna happen for it. Yeah, that would be a band-aid, and at least she would lose the ability to use it later on in life. But I don't think it's gonna solve anything.
No.
Maybe we'll find out more in updates here. But
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah, that's
rough. Oh no. Okay, here we go. Update 1, June 11th, 2023. So we skipped ahead. It's 2 days after D-Day, and I finally come bearing an update. I've had to condense it quite a bit because a lot has happened. Before I get started on the update, Nadia wanted me to thank everyone who congratulated her on her graduation. She was overwhelmed by the support you all gave her, especially after she faced such opposition from our family. So let's start. Last Friday, Leo and I went to speak to our parents and Aaron. I wanted to tell them that I'd be pulling my son from the wedding. Our older siblings ended up turning up as well, so it was 4 of us standing up for Nadia. Ooh.
Oh.
Leo had spoken to them the night before and helped them see things more clearly from Nadia's eyes. Apparently, it didn't sink in with them that Aaron chose the date intentionally. Yes, it did. They just decided to ignore it.
Yeah, there was too much fighting against him at this point to not see it.
There was a lot of yelling. Aaron accused me of trying to sabotage her wedding. Our parents tried to convince me to let them take my son to the wedding, but I stood my ground. I felt a lot stronger with my older siblings with me. There's only 2 years between me and Aaron. After all, I'm not much of an older brother. Luckily, Lydia was there. Her words carry more weight as the eldest, and she didn't give Aaron or my parents room to argue as she told them that Aaron chose the date intentionally, admitted as much in front of me and Leo, and that this was normal behavior for her. Lydia told them that if they continued to favor Aaron so blatantly, the rest of us would go no contact, and Lexi would likely follow in the future. Our dad started yelling, not at us, but at Aaron, surprisingly. I've never seen him so angry before, and to see it directed at Aaron was shocking. Our mom asked us to leave. We didn't hear from anyone on that side until Monday when Aaron's fiance George asked to meet us at our parents'. He apologized to Nadia. He didn't know that the wedding and graduation overlapped, nor did he know that it was something Aaron did on purpose. Our dad was the one to tell him. You're going to marry this woman, bro.
Signing up for life.
What followed was a long talk between us, during which we all aired our grievances. I told our parents that we all felt that they valued Aaron more, that none of us mattered to them compared to her. Her artwork always went up on the fridge. Ours always went in the drawer. I told them that, as a parent, I could never imagine treating my child like that. Erin tried to argue. She tried to tell us that we were trying to turn her into a bad guy, trying to turn our parents against her, trying to sabotage her wedding. Our mom told her to be quiet, that it was our time to talk. George stepped in to tell us that he didn't expect us to attend the wedding, but we were welcome to attend the reception. He went so far as to say that he wished he could have canceled the wedding altogether, but it had only cost him more money that he'd spent by bringing it forward. Mom's willingness to hear us out lasted less than 24 hours. By Tuesday, she was begging us to reconsider. Apparently, our feelings meant nothing in the face of Aaron's dire stress and the fact that people would be questioning our absence on the big day. There it is. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
They're worried about looking bad.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to my mom since, but I did ask my dad to bring me some of Nadia's things because she is going to be staying with me full time. We have officially gone no contact with our mother. Dad took Nadia out for an early graduation celebration on Wednesday. They had a daddy-daughter date I think that she really needed. He apologized for a lot of things and told her that he wanted to do the same with the rest of us. But Wednesday was about her. I'm happy she got that one-on-one time with him. She was happy coming home to me. In our sibling group chat, she said that she really thinks Dad is going to try to mend bridges with us, even if Mom won't. That will be complicated, Dad.
Sure will.
Dad also turned up early yesterday morning, I'm talking 6:30 a.m., to give Nadia flowers. He told her that he was proud of her. George even called while he was getting ready for his big day to congratulate Nadia, which I really appreciated. We did not hear from our mom or Aaron. Our paternal grandma ended up coming to the graduation with us.
Ooh.
It was a great day, like a really great day. We didn't think about the wedding, didn't think about Aaron. We just had fun together. My son got to wear his aunt's cap and gown and nearly drowned in the fabric. Our grandma tried on the cap too. We took photos and sent them to our dad, who posted them in a Facebook post he wrote to congratulate both Aaron on her wedding and Nadia on her graduation, and we laughed about how it must have pissed off our newly wedded sister. We went out for dinner, and we as siblings gifted Nadia money for a week away with her best friend, which somebody suggested in a comment on the initial post. I texted George my congratulations. Despite everything, I do hope he and Aaron are happy together. He sounds like a nice guy.
He does.
While she might not love us, I don't doubt that Aaron loves him. Yes, she wants her spotlight in the moment, but I don't think she's marrying him just for that. Bringing the wedding forward? Sure, that's a hugely malicious tactic to bring herself more attention. Marrying him for the sake of having a wedding? She isn't that type of narcissist.
Well, she's pushing it.
It depends on if George has a trust fund or not, bro.
Fair enough.
As of right now, I plan on staying no contact with my mom unless she makes some big changes. This is a sentiment shared not only by the majority of my siblings, but it is also encouraged by our dad and grandma. She's tried reaching out to me and my partner, mostly berating us for not attending the wedding and accusing us of planning to keep her grandchild away from her.
Well, you're toxic.
Jesus. At the moment, our summer looks busy. We're planning on filling it with as many family outings as possible before Nadia leaves for college. We've also got Josh's 29th birthday to plan. Our dad's even joining in. This might cause a bigger rift between him and mom, but for now, at least, it looks like we are his priority. Lydia's threat really did something to him. Thanks to everyone who left comments on the original post. I know they really cheered Nadia up when she was worrying about whether or not she was doing the right thing by choosing herself. Part of me wishes we could have taken this stand earlier, but it took us a while to find our voices. Looking into the future, I do see 2 empty spaces at my own wedding, but I also see 5 siblings cheering me on. I'm happy with that. We still have another update, but what do you think about this one?
Okay, George...
Yeah.
Is a good dude.
Yeah.
That's a good guy.
George, you deserve better than Aaron.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that he ended up being okay. We're still agreeing to marry this woman after he got a preview of how malicious
well, but
she's
he also
capable of
said
being.
Something about money and how much was already
it would
spent.
cost him money. Yeah,
But this is a mindset that people have, right?
oh my God.
I know.
Well, I've already paid for the wedding. I'm still going to go through and marry her. Not thinking that if this woman is this malicious, how much money is it going to cost you down the road in a divorce?
I guarantee you this happens often where people get to a point of the wedding. They're like, well, shit, I've already spent all this money. I guarantee that happens. God bless you, George. You're in for the guy.
It's going to be fun, buddy.
Ooh.
Wait till you have kids because she has this problem with her siblings. She's going to have this problem with your kids.
I wondered about that too. What kind of a parent does an Aaron turn into?
Yeah.
If they can't stand attention, well, they turn into a parent who plans birthday parties and makes them about themselves.
Well, and like we said, the mother-in-law, she's going to be that mother-in-law.
For sure.
But she started so much earlier in life. Like what?
She should be seasoned.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah,
That's rough. That's rough. Okay, so George is cool. Dad is seemingly cool.
I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't either. No, and they've got a 4-year-old still.
Be hell.
God damn.
Oh, shit, I forgot about that.
Right? You got a little mini person in the middle of whatever hell is happening in that marriage, because I promise you there's so much hell happening in that marriage right now. But Dad did a really... he put out a lot of effort to try to make both feel important. And I almost get the vibe that maybe he went to Aaron's. I think that he would have gone to Nadia's graduation.
Yeah.
But I mean, that marriage would have been over if he'd have done that, I'm sure.
Sure. I'm surprised that it's not already. And you typically don't see one member of a married couple take action or take a stance that is differing than the other's opinion.
Yeah.
And
especially that big.
Especially that big, and especially when it's the husband, because the husband typically will just go along to get along because he doesn't want to rock the boat, because he doesn't want to deal with the bullshit that his life is going to become if he's a dissenter from his Khaleesi, right? So
true. But
I'm shocked.
Here we have a situation where finally a parent has prioritized their kid.
Yeah.
One of them. I mean, both. He really did a good job of trying to prioritize both of them. But he didn't choose his spouse over his kids in this case, which I'm here for that. I mean, I think spouses should be a united front, but that wasn't going to happen with Mom. Right. She wasn't budging, nor was she willing to listen. And he did what he had to do to make both kids feel special. And that's huge.
Do you think his actions would have been different or even more severe if they didn't have a 4-year-old?
Oh, I think so. That's a good point.
I mean, because he probably, a large part of him is like, yes, I'm going to do this, but he's spinning like 3 plates right now. Well, way more than that, but he's keeping all of his plates spinning right now because he doesn't want to lose anybody.
Yeah, that's a good point. I also think, I don't know if this is everybody. Obviously, I'm not a dad, but for me, my dad walking to me down the aisle and doing all the daddy-daughter stuff on a wedding day that was huge for me. Like, cried about it every time I thought about it because I'm such a daddy's girl. And I don't know about Erin. She sounds like she's probably more of a mommy's girl, but I'm sure they seem to have a nice relationship prior to this. So I'm sure he didn't want to miss out on those opportunities either. Because my dad had those feelings too of it was just as important to him as it was to me that we have that moment together before we walked down the aisle, that he walked me down the aisle and said whatever goofy damn thing he said to Scott, and that we had our dance together and all these special things. And it was stuff that we both had thought about forever. And so probably Erin and he had some of those things too. Right. And he probably was trying to take some of that into account too.
I'm sure. Yeah. And that's much more interactive for him than a graduation. Yeah. And I thought he would have preferred to be at both, obviously.
Yeah.
And nothing can take away, Erin doing this maliciously and intentionally.
Yeah.
And that's terrible.
It is.
We still have another update here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. Update October 31st, 2023. It's been about 5 months since I've last posted, and I've had some requests for an update, so I figured I'd sit down and write one up. Bear in mind, a lot can happen in 5 months, and that's definitely true for this. Let me start off with July. Erin and George went on their honeymoon, and their absence sent our mom into a frenzy. She wasn't used to having no one around. Someone was always visiting, mostly Erin, but the rest of us would visit out of obligation and see Nadia and Lexi. With Erin on her honeymoon and the rest of us, no contact, Mom had no visitors, and she really didn't like that. Literally the day after Erin left, we started getting bombarded with phone calls. She tried convincing Nadia first, which Lydia thought was a strategic move because Nadia is the more timid of all of us, and thus more likely to be persuaded. Oh, I guarantee you that was the case. Which one can I turn the easiest? Yep. When Nadia turned her down, she turned her sights on the rest of us. We all got identical phone calls with her trying to persuade us to go visit her, to understand her, to see things from Erin's perspective. She even brought up the circumstances of Erin's premature birth and how it was a miracle that she was even here. Josh told her to do better with Lexi. Lydia blocked her number. When the phone calls didn't work, she started turning up at our homes. She continued spewing much of the same shit she had over the phone before the wedding. She didn't understand what she'd done so wrong, why we were treating her like this. She called me ungrateful and disrespectful. She accused us of harboring unnecessary jealousy towards Erin and that she loved us all equally. Yes, Mother, that's why you're showing up saying all this shit and defending her and and
victim mentality.
Yes, taking zero accountability. I didn't respond to these comments. I was just trying to prevent her from going inside and saying the same things to Nadia, who was with my partner and son in the living room. Her comments didn't deserve a response, and when she was done, I asked her to leave as calmly as I could, but truthfully, I felt a little like crying. But who wouldn't feel shitty when with their mom yelling in their face like that, trying to downplay years of pain and calling it unnecessary jealousy? My siblings and I have been let down time and time again by her and our dad ever since Aaron was born. They missed out on so many things over the years, both big and small. But we had one thing that they never missed, and we were happy with just that one thing, and that was our high school graduations. But they couldn't give that to Nadia. All we had were our high school graduations. They missed Josh's college graduation because Aaron broke her leg. It was an accident, I get that, but they never made it up to him. They never celebrated this huge achievement afterwards, and he just had to grin and bear it. Our mom didn't turn up to my partner's baby shower after making such a huge fuss about it because Aaron didn't want to go and wanted them to get their nails done together instead. But our jealousy is unnecessary? Sorry. I don't know how I managed to stay calm while she was yelling at me, but I did. Asking her to leave made her switch tactics, though, and she started calling out for my son, trying to coax him to go to her and telling me that she had the right to see her grandson. My partner stepped in then because she was seething and took my place at the door. Mom yelled some more, but she left when my partner threatened to call the cops. Mom repeated this song and dance with my other siblings, but similarly got nowhere with them. Then came the Facebook posts. Indirect rants about how ungrateful people and how shocking it is that some kids could turn against their parents so easily. Erin somehow got involved while on her honeymoon and called Lydia to scold her for being mean to our mom. But as I've said before, Lydia is angry and she's had enough. Whatever she said to Aaron prevented her from calling the rest of us. There was then a Facebook post about how much it hurt to be kept from a grandchild. Now, there are no names mentioned, but there is only one grandchild, and that is my son. My mom's sister called me. There was yelling. I blocked her number. I know Dad was trying to convince our mom to just leave us alone. He kept apologizing because she just wasn't listening to him. Erin came home after 2 weeks. She tried reaching out to Lydia again, asking for all of us to talk because, and this is a quote from Lydia, clearly we all have some issues to work out. We did not turn up. Erin was very angry at that because she's not used to us not turning up for her. July wasn't all bad, though. When our mom was on a rampage, our dad was still trying to do better by us, and he's improved a lot. In July, he and I went out for a meal together, just the two of us, and grabbed a drink, and he apologized. It wasn't a generic apology that he could have repeated to all of us about how he's sorry that he hurt and neglected us, but he brought up specific instances that he wanted to apologize for. He thought back on all those years and picked out moments that he wanted to apologize to me for. I know he did the same for the others. But having him apologize for things like canceling a fishing trip because Aaron needed him was something I wasn't expecting. And I never really cared for fishing, but I wanted to go on that trip because I always saw it on TV, you know? I always saw the dad and son fishing together, and I wanted to have that. I wanted Dad to prove that I was a priority to him somewhere deep down. It didn't happen, and I never asked again. But we went fishing in July. What started as a trip between the two of us soon grew into a family day out when my siblings expressed an interest in going fishing too. My brothers first, then Nadia, and even Lydia, who hates the smell of fish. My dad brought Lexi and I brought my son, and it was great. It was one of the best days of my life. I suck at fishing, but I'm pretty great at collecting seashells. It was brilliant. Our parents did end up arguing when Dad went home. I wasn't there, so I don't know every little detail, but from what my dad told me, the argument was mostly because Mom didn't understand why we were still in contact with him and not her. JFC, lady. She found it insulting that we were repairing our relationship with him. No, he's repairing the relationship with them, you dirty old crusty. She was angry that Dad wasn't pushing us to forgive her or why he wasn't stopping us from acting out. She was angry that he didn't extend an invitation to her and Aaron for the fishing trip, and she was even angrier when he explained that their presence would make us uncomfortable. Josh turned 29 at the end of July. We booked an escape room for the 5 of us siblings. Then we met our dad and partners for dinner that evening. Josh introduced us to his new partner for the first time. All of our attention was on Josh. The day was completely about him, which was a first for our family. Then there was a party thrown for him by his friends, which I came out of with a massive hangover. Mom started giving us the silent treatment in the middle of August. Well, thank God. Yeah. Dad moved out in September. There it is. While we were getting the silent treatment, Dad was bearing the brunt of her anger, and it really took it out of him. He was trying to do better by us, and she was trying to villainize us, and he ultimately told her that if she didn't take accountability for her actions soon, then he'd be contacting a lawyer. Mom didn't take him seriously. He's been staying in Lydia's guest room since. Mom doubled down and said that he was blind for not seeing how we were manipulating him. Unlike the rest of us, Dad obviously still has regular contact with Aaron, and according to him, she's even told Mom to reconsider. Unsurprisingly, Aaron's involvement is what got Mom to relent. I'm not sure if she's thinking about how she's treated us or if she's silently stewing. I know she asked Dad if he's going to move back home, but he said that it was better for them to have space right now. Personally, I'm struggling to see an outcome where our mom sincerely admits that she was in the wrong. I think she'll say it just to get Dad back home and the rest of us talking to her again. I don't think she'll ever hold us to the same level as Aaron. In brighter news, there's officially less than a year left until my own wedding. Currently, there is no place for my mom or Aaron. My partner Jade and I are having our fathers wear ties that match me and my groomsmen, something I originally didn't plan to do, but I'm happy with the change. Nadia is settled in at college. She's made some new friends with kids in her classes, and she's enjoying it. She's happy. Even though we have an active group chat, she FaceTimes me every few days just to talk. Most of what she says I've already read in the group chat, but I'm always willing to listen to her stories again. Nadia never used to talk this much. She looks a lot happier now than she did 5 months ago. I think that's everything. Sorry for the novel, but like I said, a lot can happen in 5 months. Woo!
Oh, that was a ride.
We knew the dissension was going to come to a head at home.
Yep.
We knew it. But man, that sucks when you got a toddler involved. And with him trying to do the right thing, and I guarantee you, she's the kind of gal who is using that toddler against him too. And she's going to use that toddler as bait to get him to feel guilty and come back, but not actually take any accountability of her own.
Yeah. She is why Aaron is why Aaron is.
Yeah.
She acts just the hell like what Aaron was acting like.
Yeah. Aaron is her junior.
For sure. She's for sure going to use that little kid as a pawn because she tried it with the grandkid standing at the door calling for the grandkid.
Yeah. Oh, that's
trash. Oh my God. I'm so glad that partner stepped in. It was like,
that would have been a brass knuckle moment.
Ooh, for
right?
sure.
Oh.
Oh my God. I think I think I audibly gasped at that part. Wow. Wow. I love the sibling relationship so much.
Yeah.
Ex Aaron, but man, that's so cool the way they all are together and support each other, and I love that so much. That's so cool. I'm glad this thing ended the way it ended, but man, what a roller coaster. That was crazy. And there's nothing quite as awful. Maybe not nothing, but it's awful to have that terrible family dynamic thing. That family drama is its own level of shit.
Yeah, I was thinking about something, and it was when you talked about your Paris trip just popping up and being a possibility, and I was like, man, this is where Candy Thunder and I being hermits really hurts us.
Yeah,
because we just don't have, we're just.
I am absolutely a hermit, but
Are you?
It does not. Oh yeah, I'm not a people person. I mean, I am, but I don't need to be around a lot of them.
Yeah,
I don't want to be around a lot of them. It's the empath thing. I think I pull energy from people. I know I pull energy from people, and I'm blocking that. I'm working on it. But it just exhausts me and wears me out. But I totally lost my train of thought. I'm not people enough. I don't want to be around those kind of people, but I want to travel. But when you're traveling, you don't necessarily have to talk to a ton of people.
Right.
So
I think I've convinced myself that I'm not a people person, but like if we're on a cruise or something, I'm going to be the person that strikes up a conversation and becomes besties with the people at the table, right?
I do that.
So I think it's one of those things where
what's it like, an extroverted introvert?
Right.
Yeah.
I think it might be that kind of case.
It also might be a touch of people pleasing because there's an uncomfortable situation if you're around people and not talking.
Yeah.
So the people pleaser and just their general discomfort makes you take action.
It may be more that than anything.
I think that's my deal. I will strike up conversation just because I can't stand the silent nothing.
I think maybe so Candy Thunder, by the way, which as an empath is the exact same way at like absorbing too much from people, and with the turmoil in the lives of people around us in the beginning of 2024, it has been completely exhausting for her because she she lives it. She
Yep.
lives it for them and emotionally just gets fried. And I think that's one of the reasons why I have to be like, okay, I'm shielding myself from this.
Mm-hmm.
Completely unrelated, but I thought of this while we were taking a pee break because I'm an old man now and I was about to pee myself. I can count the number of times that I've been spotted in public on my hand, like 2-3 times maybe.
Really?
One of them happened this morning.
That's awesome.
I was at Casey's,
Mhm.
and one of the gals who works there comes over and is like, "Hey, I don't want to be weird, but you look a lot like Dusty Thunder." And I was like, "That's me." And we talked for a minute, and then as I was leaving, I was like, "Nice to meet you." And then I left and I was driving away and I was like, I said, "Nice to meet you," but I never got her name.
Oh,
Like,
that's funny.
Never asked for her name.
Yeah.
And still said like, "Nice to meet you." And I'm like, I'm an idiot. So I grabbed some sticker
Overthinker.
packs from up here and I put them in my car. So if it ever happens again, or if I see
That's
her
a
again at
really
Casey's,
cool idea.
I can at least be like, "Hey, thank you so much for saying
Yeah.
something. Here's this.
That's cool.
Sorry, I'm socially awkward."
That's the thing I think people don't expect when you do what you do
Mhm.
or what I used to do, because it's a persona. I mean, mine was way more than
I
my
think
actual.
this very much is too.
Yeah, like totally different than who I actually am. I would meet people and I was a bad guy. I was a jerk, and they'd be like weird. I'm like, "Hey, come here. What's up?" And I'm talking to
Yeah.
them, and they'd be
They're like, "You wanna kick my
"Wait,
ass?"
What?
It's Sassy Merlot. Oh no.
And then I would leave the situation and be like, "I'm going to overthink that to death now." And I'm going to confuse myself completely about how that went. And yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't know, because we don't see ourselves as anything other than just who we are, right?
We're just
And so
normal
when
people.
Yeah. And so when people do that, it's like, what are you making a big deal about me for? Like,
Right.
Why are you acting like that about me? It's just me. What's the big deal?
I
just don't know how to
group
deal with
chat. I still don't either. I don't know that. I mean, it doesn't, because it happens so rarely, and I think it's happened just like 3 times maybe.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been trained to deal with
Yeah.
it. I haven't figured out, like, I'm not used to it yet, and I doubt that it happens more often because it's just one of those random things. But I messaged a group chat on the way to the office right after that, and I'm like, here's what just happened. Here's how much of a social awkward dipshit I am.
That's awesome.
But I messaged them and I was like, so I was at Casey's and someone came up and said, "Hey, you look a lot like Dusty Thunder." And that's all I said. And they were like, "And what's the rest of the story, man?" So I told them that I just responded and said, "Who's Dusty Thunder?"
That's
was it.
funny.
Yeah.
Did you tell them the rest of it?
No. Well, yeah, I did
You
later
ended up-
on. But yeah.
You know, they were all sitting here like,
It was Candy Thunder who was like, and then
that's awesome.
no, and then
And then.
Sorry, we had a few tangents, and my mind was spinning while I was peeing because I peed for 87 years. So I was like, "Oh, we got to talk about this. Oh, we got to talk about
That
this.
is,
Oh, we gotta
it
talk
is
about
kind
this."
of a cool thing, though, to get
It is cool.
recognized. It
It's-
hasn't happened to me in a long time because obviously I don't do what I did anymore, and I haven't for a long time. But it was always kind of cool, and I always kind of liked it whenever it would happen, and like friends or family were with me,
Yeah,
and that would happen.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, "Oh, I'm kind of a big deal."
that's right.
I wasn't at all, but it was kind of cool.
You should start wearing like your villain costume
Oh.
again and seeing if anybody
Oh.
see if it sparks any memories for people.
I was in the 20s. That looked a lot different than it would now.
Come on, give it a shot.
Whew.
Give it. I'm just glad that it was. I was getting a slice of Casey's breakfast pizza, and some Monster tea, and it wasn't like me doing something stupid or bad or being an asshole in public.
Yeah, that could have been way more awkward.
right. I imagine some other people out there probably have spotted me. They're just like, "That guy's an asshole. I'm not going to talk to him."
Not happening.
It's not happening.
That's funny.
All right, we have 2 more stories to go here, and I don't think they're crazy long, so we're in good shape. This next one is from the AITAH subreddit and is titled, "Am I the astronaut for switching seats on a plane to help my daughter? I just landed at home from taking my family on vacation in Mexico. My daughter was watching the Troll movie on the plane and minding her own business. The woman in front of her decided to put her hair over the back of her seat. This obscured the screen for my kid. My daughter asked her to move her hair, but she wouldn't. We pushed the button for the flight attendant, and the FA got the woman to move her hair for about 15 minutes. Then she did it again. I decided to do something. When my daughter went to the bathroom, I took her seat. When she came back, I let her have my seat. She asked why I moved, and I said that I really liked the woman's hair and I wanted to get a better look at it. The woman heard me, and she immediately pulled her hair back, tucked it in, and pulled her hoodie up. My daughter didn't notice. She was happy with her movie. I was happy to have a nap. My wife says that I should have just switched seats and not said anything to make that woman uncomfortable. I think she needed to know that she was being rude. So it's, am I the astronaut for switching seats on a plane to help my daughter? But really the question is, am I the astronaut for saying something to make this woman realize that she was being a dipshit, rude AF person? And hell no.
Not at all.
So she did it for the fact that your kid, who is, do we know how old the kid is here?
Didn't say.
Okay. If she's watching Trolls, that's Navy Thunder's current obsession is Trolls. I'm gonna assume, like, 12 under 12.
For sure.
If you are unwilling to move your hair to let a kid behind you watch their movie, you're a asshole.
First off, anyone putting your hair over the back of the seat is a dick move. Does not matter who's behind you. Does not matter.
Unless you want to pay for the seat behind you.
There you go. Or, I mean, unless you are in that back seat where the wall's behind you, you're a dick if you do this. That's it. There's no other conversation. You're a dick. That's it. Somebody needed to tell you. And then, by the way, flight attendant did.
Right.
The woman was made totally aware that she was being a dick and then chose to continue being a dick. This guy's not an asshole. And I'm glad he said something.
People. I don't understand humans that make the choice to be blatant assholes, especially to kids. Like, what the is wrong with you? What are you gaining by this? I guess that's what I don't understand. Like, what's the motivation? Like, what's the whole do what you want thing? Like, what do they want out of this? What does this action bring them? What does this behavior achieve for them? Control?
Yeah, that I don't know that I'll ever understand. Even if someone could give me an answer, I don't think it would. I couldn't make sense of that. That wouldn't work.
If Sassy Merlot were in character on a plane,
oh my God,
would she do that?
Would I do that? Would I be the person that put my hair over it? No, not even.
Not even Sassy Merlot, the villain.
Nope.
But Sassy Merlot would have whooped some ass.
I would have said something. yeah, 100%. I would have said something.
Be like, ladies and gentlemen, there's a snake on this mother plane.
I got away from that persona so much that I would have been the person that would have not said anything at all and just let this lady keep being an asshole. Probably not if it was to my kid, but if it was to me. And we didn't really talk about it, but New Year's resolution is I'm done not saying things. If people are being assholes, they're going to get called out for being assholes.
Nice.
And
just to you or to other people in general?
No, if I see somebody being a dick, you're probably going to be told you're being a dick. Because the people pleaser in me doesn't want that. And so it makes me really uncomfortable to do that. But I don't know. If you're comfortable being that way, you should now get to be uncomfortable too.
Agreed. If you're comfortable making other people uncomfortable.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to just call people out for being a dick for nothing. I mean, but if they are actively making a choice to be a dick to somebody that does not deserve that,
right? And
I am witness to it, I'm probably saying something.
Nice.
I've decided that's a thing, not because I need to interject myself, but because I think I'm just done not saying what needs to be said.
You're gonna be like Batman, but for like just assholes.
I'll just be like the vigilante.
Yeah.
To assholes.
Right. We need to come up with a name for that character.
I like that.
Yeah. It's like Batman. It's definitely vigilante justice.
When we get the name and
assholes.
I say it, I'll say it in a real raspy, growly voice.
Yeah.
I like it.
By the way, with this new outlook that you have, we have a stack of DFHB disapproved stickers, like thumbs down stickers.
God, I love that.
Right outside that we need to make sure we arm you with, because as you are confronting people, it's pretty easy to just be like, hey.
Just slap it right on their head.
And as a parting prize, here you go.
People who oh my God, I love that so much.
It'd be great. So I actually, this is a tangent before we get into our last story here, but the other day, showed up to the office, and we have Schitt's Creek out front where people who live in the apartments let their dogs shit, and some of them don't clean up after them. Well, in the morning on the way in, every once in a while you'll see one of the pooch poopers showing up. I don't know why words were hard there. You'll see one of the people walking their dogs and letting them go to the bathroom right there, and we'll just kind of pay attention. I've seen several sets of people clean up after their dogs. And every time I'm like, man, I should have run a DFHB sticker out to them. I should have done that. I wish I would have done that. And like never could get in time to get it and chase them back out. But I made it happen the other day.
Nice.
Finally, I sprinted in, turned the alarm off, grabbed some stickers, ran back out. And I'm like, hey, I know this is weird. But I actually do some social content creation. I just wanted to thank you for cleaning up after your dog and gave them some Dusty Thunder and DFHB stickers.
Awesome.
And they were pumped about it. So I don't know if they follow or anything now, but it felt good to be able to just thank someone for being a decent human being.
Because it's not a thing that we see all the time anymore.
Right.
And people, I don't know if they should get recognized for it, but
I think it's nice.
It's nice.
I think it's nice for people to get I don't feel like I need to be thanked or recognized for holding the door for somebody, but I think it feels nice to recognize other people for doing like, you know, the basic decent human thing, because it is rare now. It's not basic anymore. What is the basic human being thing to you and me is no longer the basic human being thing to the world. I feel like
I agree.
It's above and beyond for
also,
people.
though, you should be thanked for holding the door for someone. You should be thanked.
By the person that I'm holding it for?
Yes.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Because sometimes
that's a decent human being thing to do.
You can tell a lot about a person by how they acknowledge the person holding the door open.
Or if they let you in, or if you let someone in traffic.
Yes.
And they don't.
Sure.
That pisses me off.
And they just don't. They're like, you. Yeah.
Yep. Like they're entitled to it.
I find myself every once in a blue moon, and it kind of depends on my mood for the day, probably. But
fair.
It doesn't matter how big of a dick I'm being that day. I will hold the door for people.
Yes.
But if that person walks right through and just doesn't acknowledge it at all and is like, yes, I expected you to open this for me. I'm just walking about my way. I will mutter to myself as I'm walking away. I'm like, well, you too.
Yeah. This is one of those things that I feel like my age is starting to show
maybe
because I mean it pisses me off so bad because it is just a decent, what should be common occurrence,
right?
To say thank you when someone does something nice for you. Doesn't happen anymore. Oh my God, it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad.
Not like it's a lot of work to hold the door open, but it's less work to say thank you.
Right. You didn't have to do the work to hold your door. You didn't have to you didn't have to wait in the line of freaking 50 cars to get through because I was cool and let you in.
Right.
Is it going to derail my day? No. Am I going to say something shitty and under my breath 100% of the time? 100% of the time. And then I'm going to carry on with my life and it'll be fine.
And then you're going to find out 2 days later that they've got a DFHB declined rejected sticker on their car.
Tracked them down Liam Neeson style just so I could put a sticker on their car.
Just followed them out of the parking lot at the next stoplight. Just got out, whack, threw it on there and ran.
You know why.
Next time, say thank you, bitch. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, this person's not an asshole.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
NTA, and not for switching the seat, not for saying what you said. I'm sure your partner was probably trying to just, what's the word I'm looking for? Words are hard.
Pacify the situation.
Or just avoid confrontation.
Avoid confrontation for sure. And I totally get that.
Yeah.
Especially on a confined.
Right.
It's a confined space.
It's probably less so even about avoiding confrontation as it is avoiding discomfort.
Yeah.
The discomfort that confrontation creates.
Yes. But the partner, I mean, maybe it wasn't the partner's daughter too, but they couldn't understand.
Their kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They couldn't understand. Why do you care then if you don't want the confrontation, then why do you care if the seat was changed?
Right.
That made the kid happier.
Right. And so I don't think, it didn't sound like the partner had an issue with the seat being changed. It sounded like they had an issue with, it sounded like they had an issue with.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I should have just switched seats and
not said
anything. Yeah, no, you're right.
No, that.
Yeah. I mean, could it have happened where he didn't say anything? Sure. Whatever.
Also,
sure, he could have done it without saying anything, but
I kind of feel like if those people who throw their hair over the seat and let it hang down, either you should be paying for that seat, or you can't talk shit whenever they put something in your hair. And it doesn't matter what it is.
Like maybe a lot of girls keep a ponytail.
Yeah.
I'll just take a ponytail off and tie her hair up with it.
Yeah, or braid it,
Gum.
or yeah,
No, just kidding. Not gum. That's
Like,
terrible. That's mean.
locust shells. Did that when we were kids.
Yeah, scared the shit out of me. My sister used to do that all the time. She'd chase me with them. Oh my god.
Speaking of, and not locust shells, but I was going through and cleaning out a lot of stuff in the home office today, just trying to declutter it, which is another one of my big 24 things.
Love
I'm
that.
decluttering, and came across this fake poop that we have. I don't know why we have fake poop, but we had fake poop. Found it and at first tried to put it in one of Ava's shoes that she had on the stairs, and then told her to come get her shoes.
Yep.
She knows better.
Mhm.
So she just like tossed it aside and it was no big deal. And I was like, well, crap.
That did
So-
not work.
Candy Thunder was at work. I was home with Navy for a while. I'm like, okay. The cat has been having a little bit of a hissy fit, making some adjustments. I don't know what her problem is right now, but she's been shitting on the floor instead of in the litter box.
Mm.
So we just changed litter boxes thinking maybe this will be a fix for the situation. So I took the poop and put it right outside of the litter box on the floor and then just left it there. And then right before I leave to come up here to prep for this podcast, I'm walking out of the bedroom and she's walking into the kitchen with a paper towel and this fake poop in her hand. And she's holding it up
Awesome.
to me, just looking at me like, you piece of shit. And she's like, I was looking at it and I was like, man, this feels way more firm. It looked like it was going to be really fresh and soft. It's just, I'm confused.
That's a good fake poop.
It was good. My dad used to do this thing at the company he worked at, and his office was right above the main entrance. So they would get fake poop like that, and they'd pour a little coffee over it right on the front steps,
Oh my god.
and then watch people as they got up to
brilliant.
the door and then like stutter stepped and had to jump over it and that kind of thing.
I love that.
Now that would be social content, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
They didn't have the ability to record that kind of thing back then.
That's a shame because, I mean, really, poop is hilarious.
It really is
So funny. And
I'm a teenage boy for joking
I was
about it
gonna
as
say,
much as I do. But
where I'm like a 50-year-old grumpy ass man about some things,
yes,
poop jokes still get
poop's
me.
still funny.
Still funny.
Still funny. You have to be lighthearted about shit, you know?
Yes, for sure.
Literally.
Especially. Well played.
All right, final story for this podcast with Sassy Merlot, aka Brie, is: am I the astronaut for forcing my daughter to share a hotel room? I have two daughters, 14 and 16. We decided to go to New Zealand for a summer vacation. It's summer for us. We haven't been able to go on many vacations before, so all of us were really excited. We booked a nice hotel and planned to visit many places. We planned to book one room for me and my husband and booked another for my daughters with connecting doors. I didn't see a problem, but my daughters want their own room and want privacy. They're how old? 14 and 16? They think it's unfair that they have to share, but they are barely going to be spending any time in their rooms. They would only be using it for changing and sleeping, so I told them to just deal with it. The room would have double beds, so I didn't see an issue with sharing a room. My daughter wants us to get a triple suite with 3 rooms or just book another room so they both can have their own rooms, but it would cost quite a lot more money. Yes, we can afford it, but I don't think the extra privacy is worth it, as they won't really use their rooms much, so I told them no. Now they are upset with me. My husband and his mother are saying we should just pay the extra money for another room. Should I just buy another room? Am I the astronaut? Before we get into the update, your thoughts, Sassy.
Not a chance.
I'm with you.
No. You're already spending God knows how much on a trip to New Zealand. No. What?
Why? Because they want to be able to lay in bed and look at their phone in privacy,
Yeah.
or FaceTime with their friends without their sister being around. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what? Like, go in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You can separate yourself somehow. You can go down to the cafe.
Yeah, don't stay in the room.
There are places within that hotel that your parents at 14 and 16 are going to be okay with you going to,
Yeah.
that you don't have to be confined with one another, and you're only going to be in it for a very short amount of time anyway. This sounds like they're being spoiled little shits.
That's what I'm thinking. I guarantee you neither of them have worked or had to work. There's clearly no concept of finance or money, which is not necessarily their fault. They're 14 and 16.
Right.
I didn't have a job when I was 14 or 16.
I did.
My parents were nice.
I started working at
But-
the age of 7 down at the rock mine.
I also, though, would not have pushed back on something like this. And damn straight, I did not want to spend all that time with my sister. I didn't want to be in the same room as my sister.
Right.
But I wasn't pushing back on something like that. But they clearly don't have an understanding of how money works. And they probably don't have a whole lot of understanding of being told no real often.
Yeah. I mean, everything that we're hearing makes that very, very reasonable.
Because dad and grandma are both saying, let's just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the shit part. Because it's easier, not because it's the right thing to do. They're used to taking the path of least resistance, which is letting them have their way, which is why they are the way that they are. The fact that they don't get to take vacations often makes me think that it may not even be, they said they could afford it. So yeah, that sucks. They're just being spoiled little shits.
Yeah.
It's like a trip to New Zealand isn't good enough. They have to have their own private suite.
Yeah, a 3. Okay, and that's another thing. So they want a big suite instead. So why? Then you all still have rooms. I mean, I guess they're getting their own rooms.
Yeah, I think it's the privacy so that they can like talk to friends. I mean, what you could sit there and scroll on your phone and message people. It's got to be some kind of FaceTime phone call.
Okay,
Snapchat,
and let's be honest, not to be a dick, but at 14 and 16, you're not having some groundbreaking conversations that people don't need to hear, for God's sake.
That's true.
But having said that, it all feels important when you're 14, 16, or whatever age. Your feelings are valid. Except when you're being a spoiled little asshole.
The way that you said it was just like, disclaimer, your feelings are valid.
Here's the thing. I talked about creating a safe space for your children, and I do 100% prescribe to that. But I also prescribe to the idea of not allowing your children to be enabled titled little shitheads.
Yeah. Well, and I'm thinking more about the future. I'm thinking about if you cave at this moment, are directly enabled them to be spoiled, asshat, bridezilla, terrible partners for whoever they end up with. They are going to have to learn how to compromise in order to have a successful relationship. They're going to have to learn how to compromise. They're going to have to learn how to settle for some things. There you go.
Make the best of the situation that they're given.
They're going to have to. They're going to have to learn how to not be 100% selfish all the time. And I know that's really hard for a teenage girl to do.
Yeah.
But putting them in uncomfortable situations at this point will be very, very good for them later in life.
For sure. And if having to share a room with their sister in New Zealand is the most uncomfortable thing we can do for them. Maybe this lesson isn't going to quite sink in, but it's a start. It's a start.
Let me introduce you to these sandpaper pants. Well, let's talk about discomfort, okay?
Yeah.
This is not discomfort. This is like the most minor of inconveniences for it's no.
And to her, what she said several times, they're not even going to be spending that much time in there.
Right. So at this point, Mom, because you've already said no, I think the principle of sticking to your guns here is worth more than even the financial aspect of it or letting them get their way. I think you sticking to your guns and saying, I said no, I meant no, carries a lot of value to it. Because if you cave at this point, guess what? The next time you say no to something, they're just going to know that if they keep pushing, you're eventually going to cave.
Right. Also, you got to talk to your husband. Because, man, if he's the weak link, that's where they're going every single time. And you are undermined 100% of the time after that. You guys have got to get on the same page with that. And it seems like something as silly as just a hotel room, but it starts with something silly.
Yeah.
And then if you're not a united front on things after that.
Right. Then it's going to be they each want their wedding in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be they each have to have their own something crazy. And it could get competitive at some point there too. So.
Oh my, yeah, yeah. They got to get on the same page.
This could be Pandora's box here.
Also, I wonder if grandma is mom's mom or dad's mom.
That's a good question. Also, is grandma going?
Yeah, that's another thing. But I think she said a 3-room suite.
Right.
For both daughters and then the parents. So I doubt grandma's going. So I'm not really sure how she has input here. But that's what made me wonder if she's
just giving input to give input.
Wait, no, she did say dad's
and
mom
his mother. My husband and his mother. Okay, so now we know. Well, of course, yes, of course they're agreeing. All right, let's dive into the update. Yep. I talked to my daughters last night and I showed them some of the comments from this post. I told them that they weren't getting another room unless they could pay for it themselves. Solid. The 14-year-old could do babysitting or part-time jobs around the neighborhood, and the 16-year-old could get a part-time job. I would take the money they earn until they pay off the hotel bill. Oh, you're going to let them work for this after the fact.
Yeah.
Both of my daughters were strongly opposed to this idea and didn't want to work. I ended up telling them that they had 3 options: share a room, pay for an additional room themselves, or just not go. We could afford to buy them both the room, but I feel like they are already spoiled enough. They have never had to share a room on a vacation before, as we have always used to book a suite when going on vacation, but we haven't been abroad in years. The trip to New Zealand is already expensive, and we don't want to spend more money than needed, even if we can afford it. You know what I really like here? That mom is using we, even though it's her.
Yeah.
I do admire that.
Yeah.
I talked to my husband and I managed to convince him not to give in to their demands. We told our daughters firmly that this was not happening. We haven't booked the tickets yet, and we told them if they keep complaining, they wouldn't be included. Instead, they would have to stay at grandma's, where they would also have to share a guest room. They want to stay home alone, but I don't think it's a good idea, so I refused. They reluctantly agreed to come. Thanks for the help. Top comment here. Oh, they reluctantly agreed? At this point, I would just park their asses at grandma's house. With their attitudes, they will probably make sure the trip is miserable.
Fully.
Oh, they didn't want to go to a trip to New Zealand because they couldn't have their own rooms, which they were going to be in for sleeping, and that's pretty much it. Leave their asses at home.
Yep. Well, at grandma's, because I'll be damned if you're staying home alone.
100%.
At that point, ooh, I'd dig my heels in. Not a damn thing you want are you going to get at this point. Like, go.
No, you don't reluctantly agree to
room.
this. This is not the kind of thing. If your kid is reluctantly agreeing to go on this expensive vacation, they are completely ungrateful.
Yeah. And at 14 and 16, they're old enough to know they're just making choices to be an asshole. Like, they're trying to be hurtful. Leave them at home. New Zealand would be amazing. I've looked at that trip. By the way, it's stupid expensive.
I'll be your kids.
Right? I'm not taking my kids.
I
know what they're going to
act
look
like a teenage girl that whole trip.
No doubt.
I'll be, I will play the role.
I don't give a shit who I have to share a room with if I get a free trip to New Zealand.
I'll share a room with grandma.
Totally. God dang. You don't even have to talk to your sister. Just don't even talk to her.
Right. It doesn't matter if you hate each other.
Seriously, you don't even have to talk.
Okay.
You will blow off a trip of a lifetime just for what? Pride? To prove your point? What's your damn point even?
I don't know what the point is, because like it's a box. They already live in a box together.
Yeah.
It just has like a divider between it. So they're just complaining about one wall.
Man, I know I was a teenage girl. I don't remember being this stupid. And I'm sorry I shouldn't trash on a 14 and 16-year-old. Also, though, parents, they are this way for a reason.
Exactly. I was just thinking that. They are the way that you made them to be.
Yeah. So this is an opportunity for you guys to dig your heels in now and try to do some reteaching.
Yeah.
Because I think if they're willing to go this far, you got 2 years till one of them graduates high school. The reteach is going to need to happen now, or 2 years from now. It's going to be real painful when the real world comes in.
Exactly. Unless, I guess the unfortunate possibility there is that they maintain this attitude. They end up with someone who enables it after that fact, and they go on through life like this. You hope that, life teaches them the hard lessons and they mellow out and become the responsible, reasonable, grateful, decent human being adult that you want them to be, but that's not always how it ends up happening. But you do have a limited amount of time to teach this lesson here.
And this is, very formative years seemingly have gone about in this manner, allowing this kind of behavior. So that's going to take some hard reteach. Otherwise, they better hope they find a George from the previous story.
Exactly. Somebody who's willing to put up with a whole lot of shit. I have some reservations now, actually, with leaving them at grandma's house, because grandma said
to
give them
right.
both the same room. I have a feeling that grandma, if she has the means, would take them on some kind of bougie trip and give them each their own room and create some kind of further tension here. Yeah. That would be a bigger problem.
Or even if they stayed at grandma's and they just stayed there, grandma seems to be possibly enabling whatever they want while they're there, and the parents aren't there to stop it. That's a real good point.
Ah, shit. You all got a Kobayashi Maru on your hands here. There is no win to this scenario at all. You got to rewire the test.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's really not a good option
There
here.
isn't. Either you take them and they make the trip a living hell. If you leave them with grandma, unless there was some kind of firm come to Jesus with grandma ahead of time, and you create some real boundaries and explain to her what's going to happen if those boundaries are violated and mean it, which at this point, given how the girls are and how everything is played to this point, especially with how hubby took some coaxing to get to come around and stand firm on this, follow through might be an issue. So cancel the trip.
Maybe
which is not a win, but
postpone the damn thing.
Yeah.
And
it's elimination of pain. At least that's about all you get out of it. Or you just pivot to something that is purely for the two of you, but then you still have the issue of
where are they going to go?
Right.
Yeah, this is a really hard thing. And again, I've driven home how much I love traveling. Oh my God, this would piss me off so bad if this opportunity came up and I was having to make decisions based off my children's bullshit. But it would be my own damn fault if my children were acting that way, I guess. So
I mean, we say that, but there are obviously external influences that can drive kids to become certain ways. Friend groups have major
oh my God,
influences.
that's a great point too.
It can be a lot of things here.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking a big game, and my oldest is 9. Like, I'm talking like everything I know I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I know how important certain things are for me, though, and them not being entitled assholes.
Right.
That's a really important thing for me. But I don't know. As a parent, too, you do what you can do and the best you can do. And sometimes you look back and go, shit, I missed that.
Yeah.
Or,
well, sure.
You know,
Yeah.
It gets away from you. Certain things will get away from you before you realize it's now ingrained in them and you've got to do some serious retrain. Or reteach or whatever you want to say.
I think that's the great thing about parenting. And when I say great, I'm being completely facetious. You only really know what to do by doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You only learn how to be good at it by it up.
True.
And it's like a lot of things that way. And you definitely learn as you go. So, so this may be the first time that they're encountering something like this, and who knows? It's back to the, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Like,
what am I going to do? I'm probably going on a trip.
Yeah.
And then,
at this
but
point,
I'm not going on a trip and getting a 3-room suite.
No.
She did say, though, in the past they had done that.
Right.
So it isn't completely out of nowhere that these girls are expecting this. There's a precedent. But this is probably a much more expensive trip. I feel like they just need to really sit down and have some true conversations with these kids and break it down. We were able to do this before because XYZ. Try to be reasonable. I know that's not always the best option with teenage girls, teenage anybody, but maybe just some not authoritarian or authoritative. I forget which one of those is I'm in charge and you're not. Whichever one of those. Not a conversation like that, but a conversation where we all are talking together, putting out our arguments, putting out our, here's what I understand you're saying to me. Involve them in the planning, involve them in the conversation instead of, here's the plan, here's how it's happening, you're coming along because you're the kid and I'm in charge.
Create a mutual understanding of reality.
Yeah. And then let them have some input on things you're going to do. You're not getting your own room, but what are some things on one of the days that you guys would like to go do? Here are some options I've looked up. Here's some things you can look at. Make it a trip that is partially about them too.
Yeah, giving them more input would help here. As long as with that shared
reasonable input,
that shared sense of reality comes like a real ownership of it too on their part, and it's not it's not letting them have their way because it's the path of least resistance, because we know where that leads. Man, that's tricky. It is a little tough. You know what? I don't know what the right answer here is, but I do agree that there is going to be this will come to a head where either you make the call to go ahead and book the tickets without them or with them, and having that conversation day before is probably the time to do that, to be like, okay, before we make this final call, let's put all the cards out on the table. Let's talk about where we're at. Let's talk about what we're seeing. Let's talk about what you're seeing and why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. And then everybody make the decision and agree on it right then.
Yeah.
Because if everybody isn't on the same page here, that trip's going to be hell no matter what.
For sure.
And what you come back to would be hell no matter what. So,
well, yeah. And then if you still haven't come to some sort of agreement, but someone ends up giving in, then at some point the resentment is going to bubble up as well, probably during the trip.
Yep.
And that's not a good option either. So, yeah, I think maybe just a conversation.
Is New Zealand where they filmed a lot of the Lord of the Rings?
I think so. I think, didn't they do a lot of Game of Thrones stuff there too?
Probably. So this could be so magical.
Too.
Like
yeah.
you definitely want to put this behind you before having it taint this what could be a magical trip for you. Whether they stay or go, like it has to be put to bed before you go there because it's going to ruin your trip either way, and that would suck.
Yeah, and if they decide to go, a conversation I think also needs to be had about, or even if they don't, either way, you need to have a conversation with them about you create this experience for yourself. Right. So whatever you decide to do, your attitude, your behavior, how you perceive all of this is exactly the way that situation is going to land.
Right.
So you can go and make it amazing, or you can go and make it totally shitty, or you can stay here and have a good time doing the same shit you do every day.
Right.
Or you can stay here and be totally miserable that we left you on a trip. So, I talk to my girls about it all the time, and they're tiny. You create your own experience. I'm giving you an opportunity. What you do with that is going to end up being on you. And that's a big thing for little kids to understand. But 14 and 16 can grasp that,
You would hope.
But if you start that early enough, eventually they start to understand that what they experience is what they made for themselves.
I think it's great in our hearts. We're trying to have this profound impact on our kids when we talk like high level like a theory with the kids,
right? And
life impact and choices and about making the choice of who you want to become and who you want to or what you want to attract and put out there into the world. And the looks on their faces,
totally blank.
Are like, are we gonna watch Coco Mountain or Bluey? Right? Like, yeah.
I know. I do this with Austin often, and at this point, I think I've just conceded to the fact that I'm saying it just as a repetition thing, so that eventually it sinks in. But yeah, for sure, when I'm saying it, it's because she's being a defiant asshole, and I'm trying to speak with her and not to her,
right?
Or at her rather, and that's what I get back. This look of like. And it just makes me clench my teeth and smile and eventually go and walk away from it. But
she's going to end up throwing back one of these times and be like, well, what kind of choices did you make when you were a kid to become the 100%. Asshole you are?
She's so smart. And one day her smart ass little mouth is going to come back to me, and it will be my fault because I also am a smart ass. But yeah, for now, I think it's just a repetition thing. I just say it to her repeatedly, hoping that one day it
someday
sticks.
Planting seeds. The parental payback thing is real.
Oh my God.
It is real.
It is. I'm reminded daily.
Oh man.
It's crazy. Anyway, I don't think this lady's the asshole for not letting.
No, I
do
don't.
That.
Again, I think you have a Kobayashi Maru, and there has to be a lot of great care and communication taken for anybody to get to enjoy this. Mm-hmm. Hey, this was a hell of a fun podcast.
Yeah, it was.
Sassy.
Yeah.
Sassy Merlot coming back to hang out with us, and we had a really good time. Went through a lot of good stories here. And I don't think we got so lost in the weeds in between stories like you and I tend to do.
We do.
We could pick this thing apart for hours and just have a blast doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's just the kind of brains that we are. And
yeah,
I appreciate that.
We're overthinkers. We've talked about
that's
that.
what we do.
I like it.
We need to have like a marathon overthinking live stream where we just take one story and just pick it apart for like 24 hours straight.
Probably could. We'd see it from every angle.
Then take a Delta 9. And
I was going to say
from 100 more angles.
Yeah. And then drink all the caffeine we
There you go. Yeah.
And then keep going.
Yeah, I'd have to pee a lot.
I was going to say have bladder spasms. Yep.
This has been a hell of a time. So thanks for hanging out with us. We will definitely have Sassy Merlot, aka Brie, back again. And
maybe with a cool vigilante name by then.
Yeah, we got to work on that. If you have ideas
you
for
go.
the vigilante fighter for asshole justice out there, there's got to be something good. Let's hear
Fighter
your
against-
ideas
yeah.
in comments. Let us know, and maybe by the time we do another one, we'll have the T-shirt made.
Oh my God. I love it.
Hell yeah!
Can't wait to see what y'all come up with.
We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.